But I do want to take a look, though, since we're speaking about the Celtics, at the odds in the East now. Look, 76ers, they moved from 12-1 to 7-1 to win the NBA title. Perk, who is the best team in the East after the trade deadline?
You know what? It's hard because I don't want to knock out the Miami Heat, but I'm going with the 76ers. I just don't know how you're going to stop this duo. Two guys that are on the mission, two guys that are starving to win a championship. And Joel Embiid, I mean, we talk about what Olajuwon did for Houston. He's on the verge of doing that for Philly right now. I mean, the way he's playing, his skill set, and they still have wings. They still have Danny Green, Tybo, Maxey. They still have wings. And a lot of pressure is on Doc Rivers, by the way.
Richard?
The best team in the Eastern Conference is the defending champion Milwaukee Bucks. Say whatever you want about Serge Ibaka and how much he has less. They didn't really need Serge Ibaka. They wanted somebody because they didn't think they were going to get Brook Lopez. After that, I think it goes Philly, only because they have all of their guys pushing in the same direction. Then after that, I will go Brooklyn because there's questions about Kyrie, there's questions about Ben Simmons and you know, what he has going on. And then after that, I would put the Miami Heat.
We didn't ask for a list.
All right, who's your list, Zach?
I'm curious what would have to happen to the Brooklyn Nets for them not to be the championship favorites in Vegas. Like, what else could knock them from this perch? I'm with RJ. The Milwaukee Bucks are sitting here like, you guys have all the drama, yell and scream at each other, do all your back channel negotiations, trade your disgruntled stars, have vaccination issues, whatever. We'll just keep winning games. We'll just keep winning games. By the way, we don't have to develop chemistry. We don't have any feeling out process. We'll just be cool. We'll be over here.
I like to see Giannis and Joel Embiid battle, and I'm sorry, but Giannis and Joel, I think that they could neutralize each other as far as their greatness on the court. So let's talk about the MVP. Giannis ain't that far behind. He's having an MVP caliber season. And then after that, you're going to talk about Drew, and you're going to talk about Chris Middleton.
Tybo, we're going to talk about James. We're going to talk about Maxey.
All these teams are good. All these teams are really good.
Here's the thing that I'm saying. Like, I'm not counting out the Milwaukee Bucks. But what I'm saying is, let's not act like.
How can you not count them out? You just said who was the best team in the East, and you did not mention their name.
That don't mean I don't have the respect for them. But let's not act like Kevin Durant single-handedly didn't put them out last year. Without Kyrie Irving and a 25% James Harden, Joe Harris was a no-show. He was a big, ugly toe away from sending them home. Like, let's not act like
graphic.
but let's not act like that didn't happen. Like, that couldn't happen. Like, what are we talking about?
But the Bucks survived. Yeah. And they went on.
And then they got
the
better.
Title. I think they exercised some of their postseason demons, learned something about each other, learned how to play together. Like, there's a power.
They lost P.J. Tucker, too.
That's a big loss.
That's a big loss.
Okay.
The story of today, though, to me, is do-overs. Okay? We just had a do-over of the trade last year that the Houston Rockets made with James Harden. Okay, Philly and Brooklyn were in on that. Brooklyn won that one. They revisited it again today. Did Brooklyn get as much as they gave up? No. But did they have better information now because they realized that big three didn't fit? Philly gave up less than what they were offering last year to Houston, but they got a lot more return for Ben Simmons, who was a distressed asset. If you want to think about it in that way. 2 weeks ago, we didn't think they had anything. And they just got James Harden. Now, James Harden with a hammy, now it's quit on two teams. Like, we don't know. This was a do-over for all three of these teams involved here. And now we also look at the Lakers, who decide not to do anything with Russell Westbrook. They had a chance to do a do-over, and they stayed pat.
Look, as basketball fans, we win no matter what because the talent is paired up in whatever way. It's like Harden and Embiid, that's incredible. But, Momo, you said, this big three didn't fit. And the sad part for me as just a neutral basketball fan is it did fit. Now, it didn't fit. What you mean is off-court stuff and all this drama. On the court, it was gorgeous. It was powerful. They moved the ball. It wasn't as static as people thought it was going to be. And you never get to see it again.
Well, and they only got to play something to the tune of 16 games, regular season, playoffs, over 2 seasons together. I had a front row seat, though, guys, to that Brooklyn Nets team last year. I was covering that beat. That's what I did last season. And watching all of those guys together, when it came together, there was so much joy. that was in that locker room when James Harden was acquired. I mean, players were going nuts. They were so excited to see this. And then we saw that deteriorate slowly over the course of the last year because of all of these circumstances that you said. Yeah. But when they got on the court, the sentiment of all three of those players was always, if we're healthy, if we can all stay out there, if we don't have these issues of personal issues and Kyrie Irving being away from the team, this, that, and the other, we are great. We are a great team, and we think that we can beat anyone. And as Zach Lowe said, now they may become the greatest sort of theoretical team that we've ever seen in NBA history. Do you believe that, Perk?
You know what? I do. But here's the thing. You know what's the great thing about this trade today? Is that it's great for the NBA. Right, because we all sitting up here wondering, like, who's the best team in the Eastern Conference. And to be honest, it could be the Miami Heat. It could be the 76ers. It could be the Nets.
Are you going to list the whole Eastern Conference? It could
I'm
be
making
anybody,
a point of saying that it's actually great for the game of basketball. So now we're looking at each series, and it's like,
it was very bad for the game of basketball to have the situation with Ben Simmons linger as long as it had, and this situation with James Harden in Brooklyn the last couple of weeks. That's bad for basketball.
You give me Nets, Sixers in the playoffs, I'm going to be living on that Amtrak train. Let's go. I will get every game.
Miami versus Milwaukee.
Yeah, he didn't want to play in Philly as a home player.
Oh, my God.
Well, and guess what conference we get to hang out with in the Eastern Conference Finals? Hey.
Let's go Miami, New York.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.